Pope Benedict IX, born Theophylactus of Tusculum in Rome, was pope on 3 occasions between October 1032 and July 1048. Aged approximately 20 at his first election, he is one of the youngest popes in history. He is the only man to have been pope on more than one occasion and the only man ever to have sold the papacy. Biography. Benedict was the son of Alberic III, Count of Tusculum, and was a nephew of Pope Benedict VIII and Pope John XIX. His father obtained the papal chair for him by bribing the Romans. According to the Catholic Encyclopedia, Benedict IX was about 20 when made pontiff in October 1032. Other sources state 11 or 12, based upon the unsubstantiated testimony of Rupert Glaber, a monk of St. Germanus at Auxerre. Benedict IX reportedly led an extremely dissolute life and allegedly had few qualifications for the papacy other than connections with a socially powerful family. In terms of theology and the ordinary activities of the Church, he was entirely orthodox. His life was incredibly scandalous, and factional strife continued. The anti-papal historian Ferdinand Gregorovius wrote that in Benedict, it seemed as if a demon from hell, in the disguise of a priest, occupied the chair of Peter and profaned the sacred mysteries of religion by his insolent courses. The Catholic Encyclopedia calls him a disgrace to the chair of Peter. He was the first pope rumored to have been primarily homosexual. Pope Victor III, in his third book of Dialogues, referred to his rapes, murders and other unspeakable acts of violence and sodomy. His life as a pope was so vile, so foul, so execrable, that I shudder to think of it. According to Reginald Lane Poole, in a time of acute political hostility, accusations, as we know too well, are made on a belief, which in a calmer time would never have been suggested. Quote, he further suggests the credibility of such accusations was determined by probability rather than proof, and a reaction to the Tusculum hegemony. Poole observes that we have to wait until he had discredited himself by his sale of the papacy before we hear anything definite about his misdeeds, and the further we go in time and place, the worse his character becomes. Poole considers Benedict a negligent pope, very likely a profligate man, but notes that the picture presented of Benedict is drawn at a time when the party opposed to him was in the ascendant, and he had neither friends nor supporters. First expulsion. He was briefly forced out of Rome in 1036, but returned with the help of Emperor Conrad II, who had expelled the bishops of Piacenza and Cremona from the sees. Bishop Benno of Piacenza accused Benedict of many vile adulteries and murders. Second expulsion. In September 1044 the opposition forced him out of the city again and elected John, Bishop of Sabina, as Pope Sylvester III. Benedict IX's forces returned in April 1045 and expelled his rival, who returned to his previous bishopric. Abdication. Doubting his own ability to maintain his position, and wishing to marry, Benedict decided to abdicate and consulted his godfather, the pious priest John Gratian, about the possibility of resigning. He offered to give up the papacy into the hands of his godfather if he would reimburse him for his election expenses. Desirous of ridding the See of Rome of such an unworthy pontiff, John Gratian paid him the money and was recognized as pope in his stead. Peter Damian hailed the change with joy and wrote to the new pope urging him to deal with the scandals of the Church in Italy, singling out the wicked bishops of Pesaro, of Città di Castello and of Fano. Benedict IX soon regretted his resignation and returned to Rome, taking the city and remaining on the throne until July 1046, although Gregory VI continued to be recognized as the true pope. At the time, Sylvester III also reasserted his claim. A number of influential clergy and laity implored Emperor Henry III to cross the Alps and restore order. Henry intervened, and at the Council of Sutri in December 1046, Benedict IX and Sylvester III were declared deposed, while Gregory VI was encouraged to resign because the arrangement he had entered into with Benedict was considered simoniacal, that is, to have been paid for. The German bishop Sueger was crowned as Gregory's successor, Pope Clement II. Benedict IX had not attended the council and did not accept his deposition. When Clement II died in October 1047, Benedict seized the Lateran Palace in November, but was driven away by German troops in July 1048. To fill the power vacuum, Bishop Oppo of Brixen was elected as Pope Damasus II and universally recognized as such. Benedict IX refused to appear on charges of simony in 1049 and was excommunicated. Benedict IX's eventual fate is obscure, but he seems to have given up his claims to the papal throne. Pope Leo IX may have lifted the ban on him. Benedict IX was buried in the Abbey of Artaud 1056. According to the abbot, he was penitent and turned away from his sins as pontiff. Benedict is usually recognized as having had 3 terms as pope, the first lasting from his election to his expulsion in favor of Sylvester III, the second from his return to his selling the papacy to Gregory VI, the third from his return after the death of Clement II to the advent of Damasus II. Family tree.